Folks, President Biden is planning on providing millions of Americans with an additional stimulus check. Several states are now requiring workers to file a tax return in order to receive an extra payment. Lawmakers now want to increase the weekly unemployment benefit boost, and they might even increase your Social Security benefits by $200 a month in this fourth stimulus bill. And if you support a fourth stimulus check, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes.
That be done to generate economic growth, employment, and put us in a position where we can outcompete any other country in the world with research and development and moving ahead. I pay for. We talk about how this is going to cost so much money. I'm not paying for it.
The Biden administration has been working hard to gain support from lawmakers in Congress on its new infrastructure plan. But many Americans are wondering whether Biden's infrastructure package will include a fourth stimulus check. According to multiple news sources, another round of stimulus checks is likely. I'll be discussing all known details about a fourth stimulus payment in this video. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And folks, even though our country is opening back up, there are still millions of Americans across the nation that still need financial help. And our politicians must step up to the plate and pass more stimulus payments. And if you guys agree with me, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Alright everybody, so yesterday Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi criticized Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. The House Minority Leader recently prompted a restaurant aid program that was created by the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. But some people, especially Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, are calling him McCarthy and saying that he's a hypocrite because Republicans unanimously voted against Joe Biden's stimulus relief package before he even signed into law. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Should the Republicans and the Democrats join forces and pass a fourth stimulus bill? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. Now, Kevin McCarthy provided a link to the Small Business Administration's website, where restaurants can apply for funding equal to their crisis-related monetary losses. Right now, guys, restaurants are eligible for up to $10 million per business, or no more than $5 million per location. Funding recipients don't have to pay back the amount, as long as the money is used towards payroll, mortgage payments, maintenance, or construction. Several other Republican lawmakers have been prompting the Restaurant Assistance Fund. Despite voting against the overall stimulus relief package that created the program, the GOP lawmakers have defended touting the restaurant program by arguing it doesn't mean they support everything else in the sweeping pandemic relief law. Now, Republican Senator recently introduced legislation with Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema to establish a restaurant relief program following passage of the American Rescue Plan. The senator said, "One good provision in a $1.9 trillion bill doesn't mean that I have to vote for the whole entire thing." Well, everybody, House Speaker Pelosi predicted upon passage of the relief package, the Republicans unanimously opposing the opposition. Now guys, a support for another round of stimulus checks is growing every day. There is tremendous support right now among members of the general public for a new stimulus check. Many are urging Biden to pass another relief payment this month. Details have not been finalized yet, but lawmakers are working on passing a bill that will provide eligible Americans with a fourth stimulus payment if the Biden administration decides to include a fourth stimulus check into Biden's new infrastructure plan. Then we could possibly be seeing a new stimulus check this September. While millions of Americans are hoping for another stimulus payment, one state has already launched their own plan. Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom and state legislators announced a roughly $9.6 billion stimulus relief bill early this year, and that included $600 one-time payments to around 6 million eligible residents. However, millions of Golden State residents have yet to receive the additional payment. And now, according to Newsom's stimulus plan, eligible residents will get a $600 or $1,200 one-time payment. But recipients must have filed a 2020 tax return to see the stimulus. Payments are reportedly being pumped out bi-monthly, and those who still have not filed taxes may have to wait up to 2 months after filing to get the direct payment. If you meet the eligibility requirements, make sure to file a 2020 tax return. In addition, everybody, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and President Biden have expressed that they want GOP support, but it will be difficult to gain Republican support on any of Biden's new infrastructure bill. Thankfully, there is a new procedural option that could be an opening for Biden. Experts say it's possible that he may be able to pass this plan through the reconciliation process, which only takes 50 votes in the Senate. And I do think that lawmakers in Congress will use the budget reconciliation process once again to get President Biden's infrastructure plan signed into law. If the budget reconciliation process is used, it is also more likely that a fourth stimulus check will be included in the final version of the bill. If you guys have any questions on this, leave them in the comments below.
On the debt limit, is the White House concerned about being able to avoid a government shutdown and raising the debt limit, considering the Treasury is unsure how long it can use the extraordinary measures it has? And what's the White House's strategy for pressuring Congress to agree to raise or suspend the debt limit, or are you leaving that to Treasury to figure out?
Well, first I will say that on the issue at hand, raising or suspending the debt ceiling does not authorize new spending. Sometimes I'm not saying you're confused about that. Some people sometimes are. It merely allows Treasury to meet obligations that Congress has already approved. So certainly they would be in the lead, as they have historically been in most administrations, on making that case. We expect Congress to act in a timely manner to raise or suspend the debt ceiling, as they did 3 times on a broad bipartisan basis during the last administration, including the same year that the former president signed into law tax cuts that added $2 trillion to the deficit. So we certainly expect they will move forward, that this is something that has been done on a bipartisan basis. Democrats and Republicans have called for it in the past, and that's what we'll be advocating for.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said this morning, when asked about kind of the issues within his own party, that, quote, 100% of my focus is on stopping this new administration. And he touted kind of the unity within his caucus, from Susan Collins to Ted Cruz. Are you concerned that it will be difficult to work with Republicans when you have these kind of statements coming from their leader?
Well, I guess the contrast for people to consider is 100% of our focus is on delivering relief to the American people, on getting the pandemic under control and putting people back to work. And we welcome support, engagement, and work with the Republicans on that. And the president has extended an open arm to that. The door to the Oval Office is open. He's invited Senator Capito to bring a group of her choosing to the White House next week. And we think there is opportunity for agreement to deliver on relief to the American people.
One quick question. A judge this morning struck down the CDC's national moratorium on evictions. Do you have a response to that and the administration's plans to appeal potentially?
Yes, I do. We understand that this just happened, as you alluded to this morning. We understand the Department of Justice is reviewing the court's decision and should have more to say later today. We also recognize, of course, the importance of the eviction moratorium for Americans who have fallen behind on rent during the pandemic. A recent study estimates that there were 1.55 million fewer evictions filed during 2020 than would be expected due to the eviction moratorium. So it clearly has had a huge benefit, but we would expect that a response and any, of course, decision about additional action would come from DOJ and